My name is Chowdhury, and I'll be doing a demo of my stock application. I already have it running here, so I'm going to log in. I've already registered with this email, so I don't need to click the register button. I can just click the login button. Click login, and we see these toast messages to verify success of signing in. And now we have been loaded onto the homepage. From the homepage, we can click search. This is where we can search stocks and add or remove from favorites. If we click favorites, this is where we can see the stocks that we've added to favorites. And I've also have the Firestore here off to the side, so we can see that the favorites are actually being updated in the database. Right now we have Twitter, Pepsi, Apple, Disney, and that's reflected here as well. Clicking on one of these will load the stock details. So clicking on Apple, we can see all these details. This is green because it's up, because it went up. And then clicking on Pepsi, we can see details for that. This is red because it went down. And then from search is where we can again add or remove the favorites. Right now we have Apple, so clicking on Apple will remove from favorites. That was reflected in the database. And let's also remove Disney. And Disney removed from favorites. Now let's add one. Let's add Netflix. Netflix added to favorites. Now if we go to favorites, we can see Twitter, Pepsi, Netflix here because we had removed Apple and added Netflix. Clicking on Netflix will show us all the information about it. And I'm just waiting for the database to be updated as well with the favorites. It takes like a minute, and there we go, it just updated. So that is my StockStreet application working. You can go to the home page and log out to show that the favorites persist and it just doesn't like go away or something. And it is crashy when a new user tries to register, but yeah. So again, we've logged in with that same email, favorites, and here we see Twitter, Pepsi, Netflix. Okay, so now I'm going to do a super quick walkthrough of the code. So starting with the sign-in activity, this is the code that I use to implement the sign-in functionality. So here's the code that happens when the login button is clicked. So the email and password is obtained, and then they sign in with the email password, and then this is where the messages are displayed upon success of logging in with the email. Here's the code to get favorites, set favorites, add favorites, etc. And this is the sign up button where again email and password is obtained and then a user is created to register them. Moving on to home activity, the main code here really is the navigation or the bottom nav. So if they click the home button, the home activity is called. If they click the favorites button, then the favorites fragments is loaded, and same concept goes with the search fragment. And then on the bottom here is like all the database stuff and where we get the document and stuff. Moving on to, okay, so display activity didn't really make use of that. I left that here in case I can in the future implement something with that, but I didn't really use anything from there. Moving on to the fragment, so details fragment is what I use to display all the details about a stock. So I'm setting view, inflating the layout, and then setting the text values. Favorites fragment is where they can see their favorites. This is used to get the favorites array and display it. If they click on an item, then that is what leads to the details fragment being loaded. And search fragment is where they search. Here's the code there. So if they click on an item, it first tests to see if it is added to favorites or not. If it is, it's either removed from favorites or added to favorites, depending on whether it is already there or not. Here is search. The rest of these are classes. This stock class makes it easier to get the information we want from the API response or the JSON object. This is used to actually make the request and get a response.